All right, fantastic. So you've shown us how to get started with the database at least.
Yep.
I guess what we probably want to do is just recap some of the key points that we've covered in this.
Sure.
module.
What do we talk about?
Well, the first thing we said was that databases are used to store data in tables. So this idea of normalizing those tables out. So we normalize them to create a relational schema for the database. The tables are stored on disk. There's all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff happening underneath that. We talk about pages being stored on disk, but fundamentally the tables are stored on disk and they're managed in something called a database server. And client applications will access that database server across a network typically. Increasingly, that database server, rather than being what we call on-premise, is in the cloud. We see them hosted in cloud services like Microsoft Azure. And the access to that database is generally restricted using a combination of firewalls to prevent individual machines from accessing it that shouldn't access it, and authentication to make sure that the users who are accessing it are authenticated.
And we'll talk more about configuring firewalls and authentication, and even beyond that into authorization and encryption and all sorts of good security stuff later in the course.
Exactly.